y'all, how are you? So it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's my first cup of coffee. And I'm doing this video for everybody. It's going to be one of the public Patreon videos, and it's going up on YouTube. And I think it's an important issue because I've been dealing with a lot of family stuff. So I haven't, until just last night, realized how much there was going on after Bree's video and then my video and other videos. And I wanted to address some of the comments and the subject matter. So we're going to talk more about my why and how I'm not a minimalist or a materialist, or I am trying to have an intentional lifestyle. I am never going to be a minimalist. I said that before. I have collections of things that I have been collecting since I was a little kid. And I'm 53. I think there isn't anything wrong with enjoying X, Y, Z that you own, buying X, Y, Z if you can afford it, and finding joy in those things that you have. Finding joy is the point. But should you think carefully before you buy? Yes. Should you think about what you own and why you own it if you need to reorganize things quite often? Yes. I think that's why for so many people the Marie Kondo method works so well, is because you keep it if it brings you joy. If it brings you anxiety, or it's just taking up space, or you move it along. This year has been this mixture of Groundhog's Day and The Matrix and maybe The Twilight Zone. It's been crazy. And here in the United States, we have more homeless. We have people who are living in their cars, people whose cars are being repossessed, people who've lost their unemployment, lost their jobs, people who are trying to get unemployment, can't, people who are gig workers trying to get unemployment and can't. Our economy just crashed for the most part. Yesterday evening I was reading. We still don't have any more stimulus money. We got one thing of stimulus money. And I think with everything that's going on in the world right now, especially here in the United States where I'm at, I think it's really important that we understand that there are people who cannot afford to buy all the things. There are people who can't afford to buy some of the things. There are people who can't afford to buy anything. I just spent in 1 week more money on groceries than we spend in an entire month because my mom and my son moved here. And if they hadn't moved here, I don't know what they'd have eaten. My son was working and helping, and I didn't realize how much. My son and my brother live there. My mom and my son moved here. So there's a lot going on. My mom's house had become dangerous to live in. And I am sitting in my barn because I wanted to talk about things without putting my family's personal business out there. You don't ever know what's going on. I did the video as a first in a series and as a response video because I thought what Bree said was valid. And as somebody who has anxiety and depression and ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it, my son and my daughter are always correcting me. And they're like, Mom, it's just called ADD now. I don't take medicine for any of those things because I don't like the side effects. I use coping mechanisms, and I use cognitive behavioral therapy. I use journaling and art and writing and DIY projects and stuff to help me. And you can tell when things have gone awry because that's when things get super cluttered. But the clutter exacerbates the anxiety and the ADHD, and it makes me depressed. And the more depressed I get, the harder it is to clean up the clutter. The more depressed I am, the more clutter there is, and it's a vicious cycle. So as I've been looking around my craft room and looking at all of the stuff, that some of that I've had for 20 years, some of it I've had for 10 years, some of it I've had for 5 years, some of it I've had for 6 months. Where is it all? Because there are things I can't find. Part of that's a lack of organization, but part of it is overspending because of FOMO, because of consumerism, because of materialism. So what is materialism? It's putting an unhealthy, and I got some of this, so this is from studies, putting an unhealthy priority on physical objects and other stuff or things. All right, what is minimalism? Well, the basic definition, less belongings, where you own as few possessions as possible. Now, striking a balance between that is great. Some people can do that and they don't have any problems. But there are people who have issues, and things that go along with materialism is credit card debt, clutter, still not being happy even after you've purchased X, Y, Z. Cindy Gwintart Waldo has been doing great videos about consumerism. You really need to check out her channel. And if you're interested in minimalism, there are a number of channels out there. I'm not interested in buying all the things, and nor am I interested in being a minimalist. I'm interested in being intentional with my spending. And not just because I'm on a no spend, very, very low spend, because we are converting this barn to a studio so that my son doesn't have to sleep on the sofa sleeper in the living room, and we can get the rest of their furniture, and my son can go in my craft room, which we used to be his room, before he moved in with my parents to help, because my mom had recently become legally blind. She can still see with like a magnifying glass, but my mom could no longer drive. My mom almost died 3 years ago, right when my dad was dying of cancer, because my mom went septic, had sepsis, from not taking proper care of herself when she was taking care of my dad during his last days. When I got her into the ER and then the ICU, my mom was already dying. Her organs were shutting down. So is this barn and other things more important than buying things? Yes. If I have to sell my car to finish the barn, thank you, the economy, because there's no way we can cash David's 401k in to finish this. No way. I don't see, unless the government does the right thing and starts giving us stimulus money instead of arguing like little kids on a playground over who got the ball first, or who's on what team, and because that, they touched the ball first. Doesn't matter who touched the damn ball first, pass the ball. And right now, during a pandemic, consumerism, could it lift our economy? Yes. Can everybody do it? No. There are people who are living out of their cars, who become homeless. There are people who are every day having to choose between buying groceries and buying medicine. And it was that way before this, and it's even worse now. Right now, I feel like I've been the person, when I first started this journey, I heard, well, if you're going to buy ink pencils, you should buy the 72 count. Well, I had to save up to buy the 12 count. When David and I moved in here, we had to do a lot of things. We didn't have a fridge. We didn't have a working stove. We didn't have a microwave. One, because my apartment that I lived in had a microwave in it. So I didn't need a microwave. I had given mine away to somebody who needed it. We had to buy a fridge. We had to fix the stove. We ended up getting a microwave. One of David's closest friends, that winter, we moved in the end of October, and the beginning of December, he came to visit us, and they've been friends since they were young, and he got us a heater, a portable heater, because the central heating and air didn't work in the house. Still doesn't work in the house. That's something we're getting to. We got a new roof. We've fixed problems. We've gotten things done. We've got a brand new fridge. We've got a brand new stove. I need a new washer and dryer. We've been working on things along and along. Could I have purchased some of those things if I hadn't purchased so many creative craft kind of things, I definitely could have. All the money I've spent in this, and is it tax deductible at the end of the year? Yes. When you're buying the things during the year, no. You don't get any help unless people send you products. And I've made some mistakes where review stuff goes. I am not a very good reviewer. I either love it, I hate it, or I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle. If I love it, I'm going to rave about it. I'm going to tell you about it all the time. I'm going to tell you how much I'm loving it, how much I use it. For example, this Uniball Eye, I love these pens. They're the greatest regular like pen, everyday kind of pen that you could have. You can write with it, draw with it, it's waterproof, and they're not expensive. I'm going to rave about it. I still have that carbon platinum desk pen that was under $10. I either love them, I like them, or I don't like them at all. And you don't know in the beginning, and some things are not for me. They're not my cup of coffee. So I'm not, like I said, that's why I don't really review books. It's why I could have had a booktube channel. It's why I don't really do a whole lot of reviews, unless it's something that really stands out and I absolutely love. Scenic Serenities, vellum. I've talked about, I found her on Etsy, and she has this wonderful selection of vellum, and it comes in different kinds. You have to let her know if it's something that you're using in a bound notebook and not like say as an insert cover or dashboard or something, or you can just cut it down the middle like I did. The first time I got them, I let her know. The second time I didn't worry about it. I just cut it down the middle so I had an extra piece of vellum. So anyway, depression and anxiety and ADHD, it's a vicious cycle for me. So I've been trying to find a way to lessen that. I've also been realizing as I look around my craft room and I start trying to box up things and go through things, I need to be way more intentional with my purchases. It happened to be that I had already been thinking about that when Bree did her video about her why and minimalism, spending, and journaling. I love stickers. I actually have a card with a thing where I could take a picture of it and get a free thing, but I can't afford that right now. Why? Because I'm buying groceries for 4 people now. Dave and I are doing that because we're converting the barn and insulation so we can finish the insulation. We're not doing the ceiling until after Christmas because I'm hot-natured right now. Believe it or not, even with a sweater, but it's really cold this morning. It's going to get 80 degrees today. But while it's the cool weather, I won't need the ceiling insulated. It's between December and March, the beginning of March, we're going to need to insulate and cover the ceiling, and we're going to buy the insulation along and buy the boards, what we put up there along, so that when we get ready to do it, we have all the material. Sometimes, even when you make enough money to buy some of the things, there are other priorities. And I hate the fact that sometimes there feels like this attitude of if you don't buy the things, then your videos aren't worth watching. There have been times when I have almost quit YouTube and almost quit Patreon because of consumerism and the FOMO. Because when somebody shares their video and they talk about how this kind of leather isn't good, or this kind of leather isn't as good, or you need to, everybody can't afford to get Gillio or Vanderspec or Chic Sparrow or the like. Some people would rather not spend their money on that expensive stuff and buy the less expensive stuff like a Moterm. Or some people don't even want leather, they want cloth, or say things like Hobonichi covers because they don't want leather. Not everybody does it. There has to be a middle ground, whether it's in the planning community or the journaling community or whatever. Everybody has their own thing and everybody has their own story. And I think it's extremely important that if you're going to spend the money, especially right now, that you spend that money on local businesses or small shops that are like mom and pop kind of stores. This is just my opinion. Because there are so many places that have closed or that are having to close or that are close to having to close. So, I mean, if you think about it, though, here's where the problem lies. If you are shopping as a way to distract yourself from problems or issues, emotional things, from boredom, then maybe it's time to question things. That was me. If your things equal your value or worth, then maybe you need to think about things. I have been there. If you continually have to make room for or invest in a storage unit or invest in storage containers and readjust everything and reorganize things to make room for your stash that you're not using, and that makes you unhappy, if you're happy about it, okay. But if it makes you unhappy, then maybe it's time to rethink. Because the things that you have, you should be enjoying. They should bring you joy. That's the point. That's the point. So, like I said, I'm a collector. I've been collecting books and other things since I was a little kid, and I'm 53. I am never going to be a minimalist. However, I don't want to be a materialist either. Don't want to be materialistic. I don't want to subscribe to all this consumerism. I want to be intentional with the things that I own, the things that I buy. I want for the things that I own and the things that I buy to bring me joy. I don't want to feel overwhelmed and stressed and anxious and depressed and have this vicious cycle. And I know the big why is that it's been kind of really going on since my dad died 3 years ago. Since my mom almost died 3 years ago. So I've lost 2 fathers and almost lost my mom. And now there's other stuff that we're having to deal with in our family. At the beginning of the year, my mom's gonna sell all of the property. The house is pretty much condemnable. Are there things that are much more important than me being able to buy a Hobonichi Cousin 5-year and the red cover that I want so much? Yes. Are there things that are more important than me buying every other or every third or fourth or fifth new kind of thing that comes out, or having a stack of journals or a stack of journal covers or an overabundance of stickers when I can draw little doodles that make my own right now? Yes. Will I purchase stickers later on? Yes. Do I still have some stickers I can use? Oh yeah. I still have some. Are they my favorites? No. But will they work? Yes. I've had people make comments in my videos. What can I do? I can't afford to buy stuff. I've become disabled and I'm now at home and I don't have the means to buy such and such and such. Can you recommend? Which is something that I think we need to be aware of in this community, is that not everybody can afford all the things. And be careful about making people feel ashamed of that. And sometimes it's a great idea to think about things from different sides. To think about somebody who has some money and can spend money on things and talks about those things and gives great reviews on those things. Like, some people are more into scripting instead of to-dos. Some people are more into bullet journaling. Some people are more into planners like the Happy Planner or, things like that. Who am I to say that if you're planning in a Happy Planner and you're not planning in a Hobonichi, or you're planning in a Hobonichi and you're not bullet journaling, or you're bullet journaling and you're not doing in the Hobonichi, or you're doing this, that it's not okay? If it works for you and it's bringing you joy go for it. You go. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. That's my big thing. I don't know what word I'm going to have for next year, but it needs to have something to do with do your thing. Because that's what it's all about, is doing your own thing. Now, as somebody who is an influencer, and I don't like that word either, I am a creative content creator or a creativity coach. That's what I think of myself as. When they ask me what I do for a living, for my taxes, I'm a creativity coach and a content creator. That's what I do. That's what I do. I actually share creative content. I actually help coach, inspire. When I say coach, I mean inspire and motivate other people to be creative in some way, shape, or form. And to be honest, studies have shown that we are much more likely to be more creative when we are dealing with less, because you find ways to use what you have. So even if I have all the things, maybe it won't help. If I have all the things, there's still going to be something out there that I don't have that somebody shares or that just came out. Am I less of a creative person, or am I less worthy? Am I less able to be creative if I don't own it? No. But if I can't afford to and I want to get it and it will bring me joy, should I buy it? Yeah, if you can afford to. But as somebody who's been on both sides of the fence and am now in the middle, because I have a big priority going on, actually have several big priorities going on, what do I really want out of life? And I don't want to own all the things. That's not what I want out of life. What I want out of life is to be able to do what I do to the best of my ability. Do I want to own some of the things? Yes. Would I like to be able to buy all of the things? Yes. But does that mean I would buy all of the things? No. Like I said, I think the happy medium between materialism and minimalism is intentional. And if you can be almost material, like almost, and you enjoy those purchases and you can afford those purchases without going into debt or without not buying, other things that are important, great. But not everybody can. And I like I said, once again, I think it's a bad thing whenever you've got people who feel like their journal pages aren't good enough, or that maybe they don't belong on YouTube simply because they can't afford all the things, or because they don't want to buy all the things. I would much rather share videos about how I can use what I have, how I can organize what I have, how I'm going to go through and purge the things that I do have, and go through those things and talk about, well, after I've gone through and I have this box, okay, this is what I have. Do I really need it? What do I want? Why do I have it? Why is it sitting there? Because to tell you the truth, there's some stuff and I don't even remember I had. If I don't remember I had it, was it that important to me? Maybe at the time it felt important, but later on, somewhere down the line, it wasn't really so important, or I would remember I still had it, right? Maybe. ADHD, but squirrels. I think by investing in the things that bring us joy, we can surround ourselves with gratitude and happiness instead of just more things. And that's what I want to surround myself with. That's what I want my creative space to be. I want it to be a place that when I walk into, I feel immense gratitude and immense joy. That I am happy to be in here. I know where everything is, and that will make me happy. Everything is organized and it's clean, and it doesn't. The only time it's cluttered is my desk when I'm or my table when I'm in the middle of a project, when I'm in the middle of journaling, when I'm in the middle of filming. That's the only mess I want, because the longer this has been going on, the more mess there has been. And I can clean, but I'm only spot cleaning because I'm not addressing the real issue. And I've tried a couple of times, and then I go through some things, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I get frustrated, and stressed out and anxious, and then I just stop. And I can't do that this time. I have to completely clean out that room and get stuff in here, and there's stuff in there I don't want to take. I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing to be a collector or to be the opposite of minimalism. I'm not saying that materialism is the exact opposite of minimalism, because I don't think it is. I think there are consumers who do buy material things but aren't necessarily materialistic. And there are people who are materialistic and it's okay because the things that they're getting bring them joy, but there are people who are materialistic that are hoarding or that are just buying the things to buy the things, and they're going into debt, or their things are cluttered, or they're still not happy even though they purchased those things, or they're shopping as a way to distract themselves from things. And I don't want to be that person. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong if you're that person. I'm just saying I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be intentional with what I own already and anything I buy. I don't know, that's where I'm at. My why, another part of my why, is that the things haven't made me happy. Have some of the things made me happy? Yes. Yes, definitely. But have all of the things made me happy? No. Have I been at times purchasing things because of FOMO, because I felt like perhaps I wasn't good enough, or people want, maybe more people would be interested or watch because of said thing, which is why I quit using Nostology for a while, because I didn't like that. I didn't know for sure if I was using Nostology because I really wanted to, or I was using Nostology because it had become trendy, because I had used Nostology a long time ago before it was ever trendy. I think it's important to remember that there is enough room out here for all of the different people and all of the different ways that we do things. There's enough room out here for those of us who are minimalist to be able to do their thing and to cut back, to have less things, but to still be able to do and to thrive. I think there's enough room out here for people who can have all the Vander Specs or the Gillios or the whatever, Chic Sparrows and Foxy Fixes, and I'm not picking, those are just two very popular ones, and I know that they're good quality. I have a couple of Chic Sparrows. The point is, there's enough room for the people who enjoy buying the more expensive things or who can afford to buy the more expensive things and they want to review those things. There's enough room for the people who are in rings, or the people who are in Discmount, or the people who are in Hobonichis, or the people who are in a notebook or whatever. There's enough room for people who are doing inserts in traveler's notebooks, or people who have leather and people who have cloth. I watch the Vegan Organizer a lot and have been for a long time, and I'm not vegan. I like leather, but I enjoy her take on things. I watch a lot of different people who do different things, and I get something wonderful from every single one of them. And it's okay if they all are different. I think we all have something important to say and all have something important to share. And I don't want to be one of those people who has to worry about, am I making this video because it's trendy or because I really want to? Am I making this video and I have to censor everything I say because somebody's going to take it the wrong way? And even if I censored every single thing, somebody would still take something the wrong way. There are trolls out there and there are haters out there, and I could put up a video and within 10 to 15 seconds somebody's put a thumbs down and they haven't even had a chance to watch anything more than 10 or 20 seconds, to be honest. There are going to be people who aren't going to like this video. And right now, with all the stuff that I have going on in my life, sorry, not sorry. I love my journal covers. I love them. This is the Hobonichi cousin for this year, and I have notes for this. Live your life. Do your thing. Do it with intention. You know, play, have fun, enjoy yourself. But if what you're doing doesn't bring you joy, if what you own doesn't bring you joy, why do you have it? Why are you buying it? Y'all have a great one. I'll see you again soon. Thanks, y'all. Okay, so one last thing. Not that the video is not long enough. I know. But I think there's this within the journaling community, within the planning community, and other communities sometimes, there's this sort of shaming that goes on if you don't fit into whatever it is, maybe the trend or the, you know, for those who want to buy all the things, the people who don't buy all the things, you know, people are like, if you're into the disc planners and the happy planners and the Erin Condrens, those people are like, you know, and within that community, you got the people who are like, well, why are you doing all that decorating? Well, you don't need all that stuff. And the people who don't need all that stuff, you know, the people who don't use it all, they're like, what do you need all that stuff for? And the people who have all that stuff for are like, why don't you use any stickers? The people who do art journaling, the people who do all different kinds of journaling, if you think about whatever it is that you are doing, that's great. But what were you doing a year ago? What will you be doing in a year? You know, do you think it'll change and evolve? Because mine has. You know, this is changing and evolving as I grow and learn, and it's changing and evolving, and I'm growing. This is the journal part. I mean, I've got all different kinds of things in here. Some people like certain kinds of content. Some people don't. Should it make any difference in what I do in my journal pages? Should it make any difference about what kind of cover I buy, or if I buy a cover, or if I make my own cover? There's almost a shaming sometimes for the people who make their own traveler's notebooks or their own folios. And honestly, there are some absolutely wonderful things out there that people have made. I wish I could make. Oh my goodness, the DIYer in me is like so envious. I'm just saying, we're all different. We can all agree to disagree. We can also learn so much from people. If we were all exactly the same, and we all did exactly the same thing, and we all drew exactly the same things, our journals looked exactly the same, we used the same words, we used the same stickers, we used the same pages, we drew the same things, we used the same, it would be so boring. It would be so boring. So very boring. So, I don't know. I think I've had my rant. I'm feeling very emotional, and if I have remotely sounded preachy or judgmental, or like I have felt like anybody's felt shamed, I'm so sorry. That is not my intention. My intention is the exact opposite of that. Do your thing. Do your thing. I love y'all. Thank you. I'll see you again soon. Bye.